Unexpectedly, this video turned into like a review of the 550. And this has the stupid small plug. My 550 XP does have a secret, and I'm not going to tell you about it yet. We're going to talk about it once I use it and can share my thoughts. Let's get started. And something to be aware that I'm going to not wear a face shield, not wear ear protection while I'm cutting the tree down. The reason for that is because I want to be able to hear everything going on, and I want to see everything going on. I want to be listening. I thought it would have gone by now. I think we're gonna wedge this over now, guys, which is a good thing. I just didn't want it to take off on me. Here it is, here it is. Here it is. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh shoot, it got hung up. I did not want that. Okay, we need some more. I just need to get it off the stump. Please, 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 please. Look at that. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Yes! Please, 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 please. Look at that. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Yes! Yes! Look at that, look at that, look at that. Yes! Yes! Once I got done following the tree, I'd put ear protection on, face shield, and all that. Because we're gonna cut some more, right? Remember what I said earlier? There's a surprise about this saw right now. The saw's power is still stock, but we're gonna go ahead and do some cutting, then we'll talk about it after we see how it performs. Let's get started. This is a first. This wasn't what the point was. This thing needs a muffler. Well, we may not be running this thing. Let's troubleshoot the 550 real quick. We had, wow! I don't have much time on this saw, but it's almost like it's got no spark or it's completely flooded. We're gonna pull the spark plug out of it. Saw is warm, it's not hot. This did get rained on just a little bit ago, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna see, and this has the stupid small plug. The stupid small plug. This plug cannot be removed with this scrunch, a standard scrunch. Now, all these connections were wet. I'm gonna see something here. What the heck? Okay. This is just gonna have to wait for later, but this is what I suspect. When you saw me blowing there, I was blowing on that connector right there. And the reason why I did that is I suspect that when you hit this off right here, I suspect that this somehow grounds out the spark. And that's, it was acting like it had no spark. So I didn't think I flooded it. But anyway, it was acting like it had no spark. There was water in here because I had this saw upright in my saw hall on my tractor when it was torrentially raining. I really don't know, but we're gonna run it now. I know there's probably gonna be some fanboys out there that says that never happened on my Echo, that never happened on my STIHL. If you've never had something weird happen with a piece of equipment, you're fortunate. Now, I will say this. I'm a little jumpy on these 5 Series because I love them. I love them. I've gone on record and said I've loved them for a long time. But my 562 was a little bit problematic. But I think it was resolved with the modified muffler. This, I think, was different. And let me know down in the comments if you think it could have been moisture. What we'll do is we'll start this back up in real time so that way you guys can see what happens. See if it actually runs right or not. Hate that I have to do this. Really hate that. That started up well. What are these logs gonna be? They're gonna be partially firewood and partially they'll be for cut tests. This wood should be good and solid. Probably cut maybe 2 cut test logs out of it, or I might get 1 cut test log out of it and then firewood. We'll see. I can just hear it now. Someone's gonna say, my STIHL could cut it faster. And then you're gonna ask them and they'll be like a MS 180 or something. Let's move these logs up to the wood yard. I'll separate the logs that I might use for cut tests. I think there'll be 2 of those, 3 of the ones that I'll immediately cut up for firewood, and we're gonna go ahead and test this saw on that as well. I'm noticing a couple things. But first, we're gonna go ahead and strip this log of its bark. I'll leave the bark here because it's a good place for it. Yeah, there's termites in here. Oh my gosh. These guys are getting all around in between the bark and the tree. And they're not boring down into the tree yet. Once I did that, these guys, they're going to be done here shortly because they have to be in the ground. And these are everywhere. This is not something that you can just spray for or anything like that. I think these are considered subterranean termites. And there we go. This is another, that right there puts holes in the wood. But yeah, look at that. These things are just kind of falling off of here. They've all kind of fallen off now, but as I showed earlier, down here near the butt, I mean, there's still a bunch here. They're still trying to figure out what in the heck just happened. They're exposed. And then this is the next log. So this is the next 8-foot section. And then you can kind of see it about the trails kind of end right here. So they're wandering around up here because we've disturbed their abode. But really, the trails ended 14 foot up. The remainder of them, there's nothing else in this log here. Very interesting. I am 100% going to miss my grapple from Stinger Attachment because I broke the hydraulic line yesterday. I'm going to try to do this with forks, and I could lose a log down the hill, or a little ways at least. All right, this is going to be tough. Woo! I got it. So, that's as far back as my forks lean. With that being the case, I don't want to lose, well, I'm going to try to grab this one too. That's as far back as those will go. And that's a fork design, that is not a tractor thing. Not too much of an issue until now. Oh yeah, downhill and everything. I'd still much rather have the grapple, I'll tell you. That's all I'm gonna try on this one. Now the question I have is, will I be able to fit it on my pig trail over to the wood yard? I'm not sure yet. It'd be really cool if I could have went under them and then tilted them back. But like I said, the only way I could get enough tilt was to be able to lift up at the same time. And these are my 2 tester logs. Oh man, I'm gonna have to weave through here and swing it hard. Good deal. Nice. This is gonna be kind of dumb because I'm gonna dump these off over my grapple. With the loader and the fork reach, it should be good. I'll basically just come over and dump them off here and they're gonna land. It'll be all right. That went pretty good. I should have the hoses fairly shortly and I am ready to have them back, and it's been less than 24 hours. We'll come back once I get some material up here, and then we're gonna buck some firewood, and then I'm gonna show you what I've got going on this 550. This is a very first. I may not have the grapple, but really an excavator or a backhoe with a thumb is the best way. If you're gonna pick up logs and buck them, I think that's the best way because you don't have a ton of width that you have to work around. On this machine here, being that this is pine and I have the outriggers, my goal is going to be to pick it up from like the end so I don't have to keep repositioning. I just want to buck rounds off of each of the logs. So I need to adjust my thumb so I have a little bit more room to pinch. That's one thing about not having a hydraulic thumb. Would I ever put a hydraulic thumb on a machine like this? No. This is just like one of those things. It's good to have, but it wouldn't be as useful as like on the mini excavator. I just want to have a little bit more room without having to extend it all the way. Oh shoot. All right, I think about right there would be good. Yeah, I think that'll work. We'll probably be able to pinch no problem at all. I'm gonna try to have plenty of room. Not enough meat. That's the one limitation of an adjustable thumb there. Of course, some thumb is better than no thumb, right? Just gonna have to probably reposition at some point. All right. You guys hear that on that saw? I don't know what to say. it's time to reveal what's different about this saw. Would you believe me if I told you that chain was less than $8? Let's take a look at it. This is basically 1 tank of fuel combined. And I have a video about whether or not you should sharpen a chain or throw a chain away, because many people actually do not sharpen them and they throw them away. I know for a fact that the STIHL dealership is riddled with people that come, they're in the middle of a project, and rather than sharpening or bringing their chain in for service, they just drop another 30 bucks. The size bar on this saw being 20 inches and a 325 chain is something that you would see pretty regularly, I think, for large property owners or homeowners that have a little bit larger wood to cut than with like an MS-170 or something. I wanted to buy this 3-pack, and I will put links down below. This is an Amazon chain. I can't even tell you the brand of it because it's one of those really dumb names. If you're the company and that's your kid's name, I do apologize. It just looks like a string of numbers and letters, if I remember right. But anyway, there will be links down below. But this was a 3-pack, and with coupon and after tax shipped to me here in rural Oklahoma, it was like $23 or so. So, you know, we're coming in right at right around $8 a chain shipped, delivered. Now, this is a full chisel chain, and I wanted to, you know, I told you guys I'd be testing it. I would say I didn't try setting the rakers on this. I don't know if they're low, but I feel like they might be a little bit more grabby than what this saw likes. So for anyone that likes more of a grabby type chain that likes to just file rakers off right off the bat, this might be something that you would want to definitely hold off on doing that. Run it first and see what you think. Now, unexpectedly, this video turned into like a review of the 550. I really like this saw. I purchased it because I loved my 545. I purchased my 545. It is a perfect running saw. Never had a lick of trouble with it. Purchased my 562 XP, and that saw kind of had some fumbling, if you will, on the throttle. I kind of feel like this was missing like that too. Now, that was resolved with my 562 having an aftermarket muffler. This is stock. Now, I have had a suspicion for a very long time that something about our elevation, our temperature, our humidity, and all of the factors that go into an engine running well, I've always wondered if maybe that's why some people see issues and some people don't. But I can tell you this, just putting my hand on the top cover a little bit ago, in fact, right now, this thing is hot. It's been sitting for a while, and that's about as long as I can hold it. Right there, it's hot, okay? So I feel as if this saw is needing an aftermarket muffler. Thank you to regulation for saws that run so hot. It's just bad for them, guys. Who am I? I'm not an engineer. I don't know best. But I can tell you this, it sure seems like these saws work a lot better once they can breathe. We got to test out the new wood yard. First time cutting up a little bit of pine. We got a couple more test logs. If those keep growing, if this pile keeps growing more and more and more, I'll probably start cutting some of this up for firewood too. We use it for kindling. We use it for outdoor firewood, for us, for sale, for bundle wood and all of that. Anyway, what's nice is once I peel the bark off, now these things ought to really be pretty good in terms of preservation. They ought not just continue to deteriorate. I am extremely thankful to have this wide open space up here. You guys can stop hearing me whine about working on a side slope. This is awesome. Actually, what I need to do is I need to cut this stump off here, because this is a nuisance. And that chain needs a little bit of work, so I think I might just do it with that saw. I think I have enough fuel in there. Let's cut it off and we'll finish the video with that. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button yet, please do so. My videos have a historically low thumbs up rate, but our channel gets views. We have subscribers. We're almost at 25,000. And you guys come in strong on all of my links on Echo, Husqvarna, and STIHL now, and that's pretty darn amazing. Let's see what we've got for fuel in here. Yeah, I should refuel this. I think we found the sword in the stone. Thanks for watching the Okie Woodsman channel. We will see you on the next one.